Okay, let's be honest for a second. When you sit down to build your meals, are you still kind of mentally referencing that old, carb-heavy food pyramid we were all taught back in school? If you are, you might literally be missing out on a massive dietary paradigm shift that researchers have been shouting about for years now.
See, for decades, the main message we got from the USDA was just low-fat everything. But researchers at Harvard realized this was totally flawed. Actually, scratch that. It wasn't just flawed. Low fat just doesn't automatically mean healthy. The real game changer here is the healthy eating plate. Unlike those older models, this blueprint is based exclusively on hardcore science, and, best of all, zero food industry lobbyists were involved. The whole focus shifted away from just obsessing over fat grams to looking at the actual quality of your food.
So welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today. Think of me as your personal grocery guide. We are going to cut through all the nutrition noise and look at the pure, science-backed data to help you build a real blueprint for a longer, healthier life. So here's our game plan. We've got a really fun macro to micro journey ahead. First, we'll map out the new nutrition blueprint. Then we'll power up with greens, unlock the magic of omega-3s, and finish up with why nuts and seeds are absolutely essential. Let's get right into it. Starting with Section 1, the new nutrition blueprint. This is quite literally the foundation for your very next meal. Imagine your plate right now. We're tossing out all that complicated calorie math. Step 1, a full half of that plate needs to be vegetables and fruits. Go crazy with color. Step 2, a quarter of the plate is for whole, intact grains. Think quinoa or brown rice. And step 3, that final quarter, that's for healthy proteins like fish, beans, or poultry. It's wonderfully simple, but there is a major catch when it comes to that veggie half. And here is that catch. Potatoes and French fries? They absolutely do not count as vegetables on this plate. I know. Sorry, fry lovers. It's just that potatoes spike your blood sugar and insulin way too much. They act a lot more like refined carbs in your body. So you've got to find other ways to fill that massive vegetable half. Which brings us right to Section 2, powering up with greens. Let's zoom in on some of the absolute most potent leafy greens you can use to fill up that half of your plate. Think of this as the ultimate battle of the greens, where every leaf brings a unique superpower to the table. Kale? Give it a light steam to lock in its nutrients. Spinach is just packed with folate for your red blood cells. Cabbage brings these amazing bitter compounds that actively fight cancer. Romaine is basically a secret weapon for lowering post-meal blood sugar, and arugula is loaded with dietary nitrates to supercharge your blood flow. To put that kind of power into perspective, a single cup of raw collard greens packs 131% of your daily value for vitamin K, literally just one cup. And vitamin K is absolutely essential for blood clotting and keeping your bones strong. It's just an incredibly efficient way to fuel your body. All right, shifting gears to Section 3, the magic of omega-3s. We're zooming in on that protein quarter of your plate to see why certain fats are absolute non-negotiables for a long life. Let's decode this whole omega-3 alphabet soup, right? We've got 3 main types. ALA is great. It's in walnuts and flaxseed. But here's the thing. Our bodies are actually pretty terrible at converting it into the other 2 types, EPA and DHA. That is exactly why we desperately need direct sources of EPA and DHA, which you get mostly from cold water fatty fish. EPA is famous for protecting your heart, while your brain and your retinas absolutely crave DHA. And these marine omega-3s, they aren't just giving you energy. They are literal building blocks for the membranes surrounding every single cell in your body. Without getting EPA and DHA directly from things like salmon or a good supplement, it is practically impossible to get your cellular levels to where they actually need to be. So what does this mean for your weekly grocery run? Well, the American Heart Association makes it super simple. Aim for 1 to 2 servings of seafood a week. Swapping out a less healthy option for some oily fish like salmon or mackerel is a massive, massive win for your heart health. And that brings us to our final category in Section 4, nuts and seeds essentials, the absolute crucial sidekicks to our meals. Okay, quick trivia question for you. Do nuts and seeds actually count toward your 5-a-day recommendation for fruits and veggies? Just think about that for a second. Surprisingly, the answer is no. Because they're so ridiculously protein heavy, they technically get grouped with meat and fish. But do not let that fool you. Dietary guidelines recommend eating about 30 grams, which is basically just a small handful of unsalted nuts every single day. Why? Because making that a daily habit is linked to way lower risks of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and even overall premature mortality. What really blows my mind here is just how densely packed these things are. A tiny 25-gram handful of mixed nuts gives you almost 5 grams of protein, plus a crazy array of vitamins and minerals like biotin, calcium, and magnesium. It is like nature's most efficient little multivitamin.
And the benefits don't stop at vitamins. All that incredible dietary fiber, it actually ferments in your gut microbiota to produce short-chain fatty acids. These little fatty acids are basically magic for your body. They improve insulin sensitivity and keep your blood glucose in check. Plus, they just add amazing crunch and texture to your meals.
Let's do a quick rapid fire of some nut and seed superpowers. Brazil nuts, basically your thyroid's best friend, just one or two crushes your daily selenium needs. Walnuts actually improve your blood vessel elasticity. Chia and flax seeds are fiber powerhouses. But since no single nut has perfectly balanced nutrition, grabbing a mixed handful is 100% your best strategy. So, bringing this all together, the Harvard Nutrition Source says it best. The type of carbohydrate in the diet is more important than the amount of carbohydrate in the diet. That is the whole thesis of this blueprint. Quality over strict calorie counting every single time. Choosing a leafy arugula salad over a plate of fries completely changes how your body processes that meal, right down to the cellular level. So I want to leave you with a bit of a challenge. You've got the blueprint now. You know why those greens, the marine omega-3s, and that handful of nuts are absolute game changers. Knowing all of this, how are you going to build your very next plate? Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I can't wait to see you next time.